They say when you experience something this profound, this life-altering, words fail you. So I'm happy to recount my first 10-day serving at the Vipassana Dhamma Bhumi in Sydney, Australia. And whenever I do that, I must caution people to appreciate that my experience may not be yours. However, whenever I recall those moments, those very first few days, it just brings to mind all those emotions. So bear with me, I'll do my best. This was roughly around 7 to 8 years ago after I finished my first 10-day course, sitting. It was such a great experience for me that I just couldn't wait any longer, so I sat for the second time. And now it was that moment where I had to really check out what all the talk was about from senior students who had actually served 10 days, given 10 days of their life, washing, cleaning, preparing food, taking out the garbage, serving the students non-stop for 10 days. And I thought, well, this is my moment. Let's see what's all the fuss about. So I show up. Now this, mark my words, this is after 2 courses of sitting. So one would have thought, and I certainly did think, that yes, I had really transcended, I'd made a lot of progress, so now it was my time to serve, and I could do no wrong. But little did I know. So it began, of course, with the orientation by the team leader. We were introduced to the manager who was in charge of this little group. We were, I think, about 7 to 10 servers. People, total strangers to each other. And we convened on day 0. I looked at that board where you have all the schedule. I thought, my gosh, this looks really complicated. And then we had to go for a little round, where we were shown all the equipment and how they were to be used and the safety standards, etc. And before we knew it, we were preparing the next day's meal. And I quite remember on the first day when I showed up at the dining hall to serve breakfast, I was so surprised and at the same time so annoyed that my mind started actually criticizing the students as they were coming in. I don't really want to go into what my mind was telling me. But then I realized this was my old nature. So on one side, I couldn't stop my mind criticizing. On the other side, there was an inside part of me which said, no, this is not what you're here for. 2 days later, something clicked within me. I don't know how, and I couldn't put it into words. But all I could say is I experienced such a deep transformation that when I showed up in the dining hall to serve, suddenly all those students appeared to me as if it was all me in other bodies. And I'd never experienced such a thing before. Neither had I ever heard about it. So I was totally ill-prepared. But yes, it was a kind of an emotional catharsis, for want of a better expression. And from that moment on, I found myself doing things I had never done before. I had cleaned, I had cooked, I had washed, but for the first time in my whole life, I actually found myself doing things with such deep volition of love for people I had never seen and I possibly would never see ever again. And this went on for the whole 10 days. And finally, 10 days later, I stood in the car park watching the students go. And as they left, I felt that they were taking a part of me with them. It was such an amazing feeling that nearly 100, 120 strangers, number one, had no idea what I had done for them over the past 10 days. But what I had done for them, however little it might have been, is something that is spreading now throughout the world. It brings back those memories of what Goenkaji talks about, the people tree, how one seed brings so many different trees. And the act of kindness goes on and on and on. And for me, it doesn't matter. Even now, it doesn't matter whether I get anything in return, because I have learned and I've got such an invaluable gem. For the first time, I had experienced, thanks to Vipassana, that service is its own reward, and there can be no better reward. So I hope more and more of you will be inspired to give 10 days of your life to helping the world through your selfless act of love, compassion, and allow that spring of generosity to burst forth from within yourself. And you too can experience what I did. Thank you for watching.